Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. We have another unfortunate first for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City to discuss. They are the first team in Champions League history to be leading a match by 3 goals as late as the 75th minute and fail to win. I think we'll probably start there. Alan, you were at the game. Micah, you would have been working for CBS watching the game. I watched the game until the 73rd minute and I thought, this is done. And I came upstairs, put some stuff in the dishwasher quick, went upstairs, cleaned my teeth, checked my phone. It was 3-3. I thought, what is going on? So I ran back downstairs to watch the analysis after and the goals. Goodness me, what's going on at City?
I actually called it in commentary. I said he needs to start planning for Liverpool now. He needs to, whether he takes players off. The game's won 3-0.
That's why I went to bed, Alan, because I thought if Shearer's saying that, it's done.
Oh my word! I mean, the capitulation. It was just. It was one error after another. It was just like a pack of cards falling. I couldn't believe how it sort of happened and unfolded. It was a remarkable 15 minutes or so, and City was so bad. You can tell that they're fragile, they're weak, their confidence is in tatters. And once that they give that mistake away in that first goal, it was actually, I felt a bit sorry for them. It was that bad.
You know, we watch City every week and we watch on TV, but was there anything you noticed, having been at the game, Alan, that was different? Was it the atmosphere, the players?
Even from the very off, I mean, it was really flat. It was, but then they got their goal, they got the penalty just before half time, and that seemed to sort of change anything. Came at the right time, 2 minutes before the break, and I said, I think that'll settle everyone down, and you're probably going to see a different team when they come out, and they did. They passed it around. It was a lot better. They got the couple of goals. Nunez did really well. Mateus Nunez getting up on that right-hand side. And then they get the 3, and I'm thinking, here we go, they're cruising. Pep thought the same because he made substitutions. He brought a couple of players on, brought De Bruyne on, brought Micah on, and was preparing for Sunday. He was getting them ready already. And then Vardiol makes that one mistake, and it was that one mistake that you could just feel as if, oh no. But for me, even at 3-2 with 2 minutes to go, Man City get a free kick about 30 yards out, and they're trying to take a quick free kick. They're under huge pressure. And I was like, oh my word, their game management was like zero. Just see the game out, play the game. Everyone does it. You waste time. Take your time and you kill the game. And okay, the questions will be asked how you've conceded 2 goals, but at least you win the game. They take a quick free kick, they lose it, and a minute later, it's 3-3. I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. It's incredible.
It was like 5 against 2 at the back when you 3-2 up with a minute or 2 to go. Pep must be scratching his head.
Literally, you could see the anger in him, even when they gave the first goal away, because I think he knew that this team is really fragile at the minute and really weak and struggling. Obviously, when they come under pressure, it's too much for them. And it was, and they got punished. And it was pretty well. It was very, very embarrassing for them in the way they conceded the goals. It was just incredible. It's
funny in sport and football how suddenly things can shift, and there's so much importance in the mind games and where your state of mind is and your confidence, and even a great side like Manchester City. I mean, I know you said you feel sorry for them, but just think about what they've won in the last 5 years. They'll be okay.
You've still got great players, and great players suffer from confidence. It's there for everyone to see, and we've seen these guys do everything for the last God knows how many years without even thinking about it. It just happens naturally. Now, all of a sudden, the doubts set in, you start thinking about things, and mistakes happen.
But what separates the players is great is how they react to these. How do you react when you're in these situations? Obviously, I was never a great player, but you two were great players. And when things are not going right, how do you put it right, you know?
You got to keep going. You got to face it. You've got to accept the criticism you get, and you got to keep going. And one day it'll change. But it does feel different with City this time, and I know because there's no Diaz or there's no Rodri or whatever, but it does feel slightly different. Even with Kevin coming out about his contract talks, saying that we started, but we had to put them on hold because of the injury and what have you with his deal up at the end of the season. And I would fear or worry a little bit for them on going to Anfield on Sunday, because Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, can smell blood.
When I went through a sticky spell, I used to concentrate on doing the things that I'd always done. Whereas I think sometimes you can start perhaps trying to do extra, trying to do too hard. Maybe, last night, for example, when Alan talked about not managing the game out, normally they'd probably have been confident that they kept the ball, but all of a sudden it gets a bit tense and you start to do things that you perhaps ordinarily wouldn't do. It's like strikers sometimes, because they've perhaps missed a few and having a particularly bad spell, do they then get reluctant to get in there and they perhaps try and do something else in other areas of the pitch because you want to see involved? Oh, I'm playing well. It's always been baffling, hasn't it? The form thing. I mean, form is fickle, class is permanent, though, and that's what I will keep saying to the players, because you can't doubt your ability. And yes, they've got really important injuries at the moment as well. So you have to take that into account. But, I mean, that was 2-1 defeat at Bournemouth, 4-1 defeat by Sporting, 2-1 Brighton, and then, of course, 4-0 by Tottenham. And now this probably will be almost the most harmful in terms of the mental state, because that doesn't happen to Manchester City. In fact, that doesn't happen to that many clubs. It's the first time it's ever happened in the Champions League after 75 minutes. So, where are we? November. We've seen it's about the second half of the season that's really important. If they can get all the players fit, win a couple of games, and the world will be a better place.
I would just like to say, though, I think the importance of a Mahrez of the past, the importance of a Alvarez of the past and the minutes that he played. Like, Doku and Savinho are very good players. So when you watch them on the eye, they're brilliant. They're young, energetic. They can take someone on. But if you look at the end product of these young players, it's almost like previously with Man City, they would have players out, wouldn't they? And someone would step up, someone would score, or someone would replace them and not be the main man of the team. But it's almost like when City have had to change, the players who have come into the team are not making the same effect as they have previously. And that goes throughout the team. I'm not just talking about strikers or midfielders and defenders. It's everyone. And it's all happening at the same time. So it is a collective. But we're now seeing some of the importance of the players who have left because they wanted, to play week in, week out like an Alvarez.
Pep's got some big decisions ahead of him on Sunday, who and who not to play. Does he bring Diaz back in? Yeah. Does he stick with Vardiol, who's having a torrid time at the moment, unfortunately? When he last Sunday with Spurs, he made a couple of errors that led to goals. There was a couple of errors the other evening. He could hear the moans and groans when he made the errors, Does he put him in at left back against Salah? It's like they're big shouts for Pep.
The only thing I would say to Guardiola, we've seen him and he's been so impressive, haven't he? Scoring goals, linking up, he's very good on the ball. But he is naturally a centre-back.
Yeah.
He doesn't normally play left-back. And because teams are taking more chances with Man City now and forcing them back, he's having to do a lot of defending in positions which he's not actually used to. Man City normally dominate the ball, don't they? And now teams are thinking, okay, well, if you're not at it today, we're going to have a go at you. And now you've seen players in certain positions that previously they wouldn't be in because they're not dominating the ball like they used to and then finishing games off.
We're talking about a Man City side the other night. You've got the one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
You've got Vardiol, who cost 50 or 60 million. You've got a Kanji who cost something similar. You've got Ake who cost something similar.
40 million, yeah.
You've got the best centre forward in the world. You've got Phil Foden, you've got Jack Grealish. You've got Nunez who cost 50 or 60 million. It's like, and like, here's me thinking, okay. It's just like incredible amount of players they've still got.
I think they're missing out with two of their leaders at the moment, aren't they? Obviously, Rodri, we know he's out for the season, but I think Diaz is a big miss as well because he's such a rock-solid defender, and those two players' experience. But they're in a rut. They're in a bit of a rut at the moment, and it just shows you it does happen. It does happen to the best. But I would agree with Micah in terms of the players like Riyad Mahrez, for example. I mean, but what a player he was. What a footballer. And, De Bruyne is just easing his way back in a little bit. But they've got a mixture, really, of the really young and without being rude, fairly old players. Experienced, should we say, or veterans. I wonder whether they'll go... They don't usually do much in the January transfer window, but I wonder whether they might need a midfield player at least. Do you think? Because... Obviously, with Rodri out, he's such a big miss, but it's a tough act to follow, and it's tough to find one in the window, isn't it?
You know what's strange, though? Man City had Lavia, who is a top player. Yeah. Went to Southampton, now at Chelsea. They've had a Cole Palmer who can... Well, we've seen what he can do in terms of punishing people. So they've had these players. They've had Porro, who scored against Man City as well, So they have had these players. I do think they need some protection in that midfield, definitely. It's too open at times. I actually thought they did really well up until the goal. I thought they dominated the game. I thought the energy was better. Bringing Mateus Nunes into midfield, putting Rico Lewis right back, but then making him come into midfield, and Mateus Nunes would then go to the right to give a little bit of width. I actually thought the balance of the team was right, but you just see on the counter-attack, they're just exposed every time. And even when we talked about Ederson's position, how many times have we talked about Ederson? He normally starts 5 yards further up the field, so if the ball goes over the top, he's there to go and head it away. On the second goal, I believe it was, when it goes over the top, you're just thinking, Ederson's going to be there. Even he's sort of not anticipating the situation as well, but they definitely need someone in the midfield who's just going to stay there and dictate, which them players are hard to find, aren't they? That's why they go for 100 mil.
Manchester City is 17th in the league. I can't remember the last time I said that.
Yeah. And, by the way, their next two games are, I'm not sure which way around, but you've got Juventus away and Paris Saint-Germain away.
Yeah, Juventus is the next one. Next round, first one now, yeah.
Interesting.
And it's Liverpool next, of course. And
they wouldn't want to be conceding an early goal at Anfield, would they?
Yeah, no. The Liverpool crowd are flying in that game. I mean, it really is a pivotal match, isn't it, particularly for Manchester City. It really is. I'm
not sure there's a way back to winning the league if they go 11 points behind Liverpool.
It'd be difficult, that, wouldn't it? It'd be difficult. But Liverpool will have a rocky period at some stage in the season. Everyone does.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how they do. And, if it was over a Christmas period where all the games come really thick and fast, and then you lose a few games or whatnot, or you get a few injuries... But if it's 11 points, I agree with Val. It's going to be difficult from 11 points if they were to win.
Let's move on to Liverpool. 5 games in the Champions League, 5 victories, sitting proudly top of that table, sitting proudly on top of the Premier League, all with a new manager that we thought would have it very difficult following in the mighty Klopp's footsteps. But, they can do no wrong at the moment.
I was never in doubt. I thought when I saw the teams, I thought there was only one team going to win that game. And I was, again, really impressive from Liverpool.
You were on the group chat, mate. You said, it's going to be 3 or 4. And I said, never rule out Real Madrid. Don't write them off. But so neither of us were right.
I was a goal away. I was a goal missing.
I bet you were sitting there going, "Go on, get one more."
I was desperate. I had the text typed out already to the reply saying, "I told you so."
Yeah, Curtis Jones, I think, was it one of you mentioned on the chat? It might have been Harry actually, but he's really blossoming and he's starting to do it in the big games, and we've seen him play really well with England as well. Because there comes a point, doesn't it, with a young player's career where they either kind of tread water and stay where they are, they can perhaps go a little bit backwards, or you see the talent in someone and then they step on. And he looks like he's stepped into a position in that Liverpool team now where he's become a really important player.
Yep, sometimes it's just about timing, isn't it? I think when Curtis Jones has played previously, he sort of looked very good in spells. So he'd get a good assist or he'd play a good pass. But it was just that consistency over a longer period of time, which we was all waiting for. And he certainly showed that. This season, arguably, he's been Liverpool's best player. I know Salah's been good, Van Dijk's been good, but in terms of when you're watching him and the impact he has on the game, and it's not just because he's setting up goals or getting scoring goals or whatever. It's his whole game. It's his defending. It's his pressing. It's how good he is on the ball. If you watch Curtis Jones a couple of seasons ago, because he come through the academy at Liverpool, he was always the best player. And technically, he's amazing. Yeah, Steven Gerrard talk about him. But at times, he used to get too comfortable in the games where he would take too many risks. Now he's not dwelling on the ball. He's just more efficient and he's become more mature. I just think he's started the season so well. And it's good to see him doing well as well, because you always want the young players to continue at big clubs, not having to go somewhere else for a couple of years. He's doing it right now, so I'm happy for him.
One other player definitely worthy of a mention. You wonder whether they're going to miss Trent Alexander-Arnold. Conor Bradley comes in. He's up against Mbappe. I had him in his back. Well, we don't wear pockets in shorts, but if we did. And he's also obviously assisted Alexis McAllister for his goal. And it's worth pointing out that I'm popping up to interview Alexis McAllister for the podcast, and that episode will be with you next Friday. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. When he scored, I thought, oh yes, he'll be in a good mood. You always
Yeah, Conor Bradley was amazing. I mean, what a night for him. I mean, him and his family. I mean, can you imagine the excitement when he knows he's playing in the team and all of that, and then go out and put in a performance like that. We talk about other teams having big injuries. Liverpool, no Alisson, no Trent. I mean, it hasn't even had a mention about Alisson, such as the form of Kelleher. It's been unbelievable, and
including a save.
Exactly,
including saving a penalty from Mbappe.
So you've got two guys that are in there. It's like incredible. Two big hitters that are out, but Bradley and Kelleher coming in and being brilliant. Kelleher has been like that since he's been in the team. He's been unbelievable. So. Great for those guys and great for Liverpool.
But not just that as well. Do you remember at the start of the season when we was talking about Liverpool's midfield and Graven... Well, everyone's calling him... Is it Gravenberch or Gravenbeck? All the commentators are calling him Gravenbeck now.
Gravenberch, isn't it? Or Beck? I don't know. Why are we even pretending? The thing is, particularly I think with Dutch names, I don't think we generally get anywhere near them because you have to go into a full phlegm mode, don't you? or something, or... Whatever we say, it won't probably be right, but we'll do our best. You can get these things now that all the players where you go on the thing and they tell you their name, so it's how it actually is. And I sometimes with one or two players from various countries, particularly I think the Dutch, you listen to it and you go, I'm never getting anywhere near that. And the same with some Portuguese players or Brazilian players. I mean, it's how we say their names and how they're actually pronounced are very different. But we don't say Paris, do we? We say Paris. So we're allowed to.
You call them what you want, Micah. Call them what you want.
But yeah, just to finish on that, if last season, or beginning of the season, and we would have said Jude Bellingham, Modric, and say Camavinga against a Curtis Jones, a Gravenberch, and McAllister, no disrespect, you'd say Real Madrid would run all over them. They would pass them off the park. But it didn't happen. And I know Real Madrid are going through a sticky spell, but it just shows you how good and well the manager's done, what the players are doing, the chances that they're taking. I just think it's a great story because the start of the season, the big problem with Liverpool was all talking about their midfield.
Yeah. Did you hear Jude Bellingham's quotes after the game, guys? That would worry me if I was a Real Madrid fan, saying they wanted it more than us.
Yeah, and he also said Liverpool are the highest performing team in Europe. Jude has a tendency to say what he thinks, which I think is quite refreshing at times. You look at this Real Madrid team and they are struggling. Yes, they've got a few notable injuries, but I've watched them this season and they don't seem to have found the formula yet, the way of playing, and obviously the Vinicius Junior and Mbappe both playing exactly the same position. We talked about that in a previous podcast, but yeah, they're finding a way. Carlo Ancelotti, I mean, he's a real hero at Madrid on 2 occasions, but they don't tend to have much patience as soon as you lose a couple of games. It's the 2 big clubs in Spain, but I think
they're on the brink, aren't they, in terms of where the league position that they're in? They're actually on the last position in terms of qualifying.
24th.
In the playoffs, I should say. Yeah, it's incredible, yeah.
Did you not notice tactically what was happening, though, with Real Madrid yesterday? Again, remember we was doing the Euros?
Yeah.
And Mbappe was literally running over to Barcola's space, like every single time. So when they was attacking, Real Madrid was like a 4-3-3. So Mbappe and then Diaz and then Gula was playing on the right. As soon as Real Madrid lost the ball, Mbappe would go at the front, then Jude would have to go all the way over on the left, Gula would come on the right, and Diaz would just go in front of Mbappe. I'm just, how can you defend like that in transition? And I know you have to look after Mbappe. You got to play to his strengths. And you asked me the question, are they better with Mbappe or without? But they're just, right now, even Ancelotti's finding ways to get the best out of him, and it's still not happening.
It's like you said, Micah, 1 minute he's doing this, but then they don't want him necessarily in the left-hand side when so therefore you've got a problem. At some point, I suspect, whether it's Ancelotti or who knows in the future, they've got to say, right, you're playing here, because at the moment they're neither here nor there, and that doesn't work. And Mbappe's a left-sider, and he's a left-sided player, and you've spent that much money on probably the best player in the world over the last few years, aside from Messi and Ronaldo, and he's not playing in his position. And I remember us talking to Pochettino about Mbappe when he was manager of PSG, and he said, no, Kylian wants to play on the left. He doesn't like playing anywhere else. So you've got a situation there. It's difficult. I don't know how you sort it out, because Vinicius Junior is exactly the same, and they're both absolutely brilliant players. But so what you're doing, rather than getting one player to play there, make a decision, and play one player out of position, at the moment, you're really playing 2 players out of position. I know Vinicius Junior didn't play at Anfield, but that's largely been the case this season. They're trying to accommodate 2 players that both want to play in the same position, and that's not easy. But I think that sometimes he's got to say, right, you play on the right and you play on the left, or you play up front and you play on the left. But it's very strange.
When he stepped up to take the penalty, the first time in my life, it looked like he was nervous, Kylian, didn't it? I don't know if there was a little bit. The guy
who took 3 penalties, I should say, in the World Cup final, if you count them. So, I mean, but it just shows you again when it confidence.
No, but not in terms of nervous to take the penalty. Nervous because of his form,
Yeah.
In that game.
It's a rare time where you looked at it and you thought, oh, you might miss this.
Yeah, first time ever.
Yeah. It's probably more our feelings, perhaps, than his, because we don't know what... I know what you mean.
True.
Mind you, it's probably marginally better than Salah's penalty.
Where are we with the Salah situation? What's happening? Because there's been mumbles all week. Is he staying? Is he going? Do you keep him? Like, how much do you give him?
Well, he did the quotes, didn't he, after the game at the weekend, saying that, well, Liverpool not made me an offer yet. So at the moment, it doesn't look like I'll be here next season. So that was obviously a statement on his behalf, saying to the fans, I think. It's like, whether they've started talks or not, we don't really know. But I think it's basically him saying, get me a bigger offer, or at least an offer.
I didn't mind him coming out and saying that. I think he's got a right to do that. When a club wants to get rid of you, it gets rid of you. There's no sort of holding back from the club, so he's entitled to do that. But he did say about it, there's no contract offer. That doesn't mean there hasn't been talks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I read into it, just a little bit. But yeah. I don't know. If there's a will for him to stay, I mean, surely Liverpool have got to try and make it happen. I mean,
yes, get him signed up. Yeah.
Let's move on to Arsenal, who seem to have, having gone through that sticky spell themselves, Micah, that you were talking about, every club goes through, and they had that patch, didn't they? But they look back to their old selves, don't they? Playing some really good football, scoring goals for fun again.
Yeah, I mean, never in doubt, Gary. Never in doubt. What did I say?
Oh, hang on a minute. He's turned into his real Arsenal fan now. Now that City are not doing so well, he's full on Arsenal again.
What did I say about Arsenal? I said, once they get the players back, they'll be fine.
Yeah, particularly Odegaard.
Odegaard is the one. And it's not. Yeah. It's not people. When people watch the game now, we're so reliant on stats and how many goals and how many assists. But Odegaard, the way he receives the ball, he can get it deep. He can make space for others. You did a piece the other day, wasn't you? Was it on Match of the Day, where he's running away from the ball to leave space for Saka, to allow Saka to go one-on-one, and they've just got that mojo back. They had a few injuries, obviously. Ben White was injured. Timber's been outstanding this season. Calafiori's been good, but Gabriel has been excellent again. I don't quite agree with his Gyökeres celebration. We don't need to go there, mocking Gyökeres. I'm just like, you don't need to be the bigger person. Be the bigger person, because
what a load of shit. Let him do it. If he wants to do it, it's not.
No. You're like Righty. Righty's got into your head too much, right? F off, Al. Let him do what he wants.
Let him do what he wants, man.
Just,
it's great.
You know, football, fun. Alan. I'm all for fun. You know me. But I'm just saying, these moments here always come back to bite you. And I love it. I love his confidence. I love the fact that he can bring it. But why is the defender even thinking about doing a Gyökeres celebration? I know he's good at set pieces, but come on. Gabriel, I love you, but he should be.
I'd actually be quite flattered if I was Gyökeres that he actually knew about me and knew about my celebration. I'd think, that's doing my celebration. Yeah, I don't have a particular problem with that. I saw a quote from Bukayo Saka talking about Odegaard. He's back. I had a smile on my face. I hope he stays fit. You can see why, because I think Saka probably more than anyone benefits from his return, because he's such a good player in that position, because he's so intelligent in the middle. Teams can no longer I think that you made the point at the weekend again, Alan, that teams can no longer double up or triple up on him because they've got other concerns because of the quality of Odegaard, and they have this lovely connection, the two of them, don't they? So I can see why Bukayo's got his smile back on his face.
Well, all of the Arsenal players should, because he's the one that makes them tick. He's so important to that team. He's an unbelievable player. The way he handles the ball and everything about him, the way he sees space, he sees things that other players don't see. He's a great talent. And Arsenal are a much, much better team when he's in.
Saka's had 15 goal involvements already this season. I mean, he's remarkably consistent.
I mean, how many times can we talk about Saka? But he deserves it. He deserves it, doesn't he? I mean, sick to death of people saying he's not world class or whether he's world class or whether he's not. He's a consistent performer week in, week out, and performance is not just assist and goals; it's what he does for the team. His work rate, you know. I highlighted earlier on in the podcast when we were doing probably 2 or 3 into the season about his defensive work he puts in as well. And I think a lot of his defensive work just goes unnoticed, not just by, I would say the fans would know, but just like the pundits as well. It's almost like stats, numbers, what's he done this? He is a key member of what Arsenal want to do. Now, in the future, and I just think he's brilliant. And what makes it even better, he's so humble with it as well, and he's always working hard. So long may it continue.
Yeah. Oh, here he goes. He's Mr. Arsenal now. It's actually only
Be addressing me as Mr. R.
It's amazing, isn't it? The Man City ambassador, they're on a bad run. He's already deserted them. He's on another team.
He's off that sinking ship. He's gone. He's gone.
Micah, what's going on with your bonnet this morning? It's all over the place.
Honest to God, I woke up this morning, I jumped in the shower, it's still a little bit wet, do you know what I mean? I didn't go to bed till about 2 a.m. last night. I got in bed, put on a film, and I was tossing and turning. And it's freezing outside, and it's too hot in your room. And do you go bed naked? Do you put drawers? I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't get comfortable. So I was rushing.
Yeah, I think everyone now needs to know: did you go to bed naked or did you not?
Yeah, in the end, I just went bollock naked, mate.
Anyway, let's get back to football. From one ball to another. They're now 7th in the league, Arsenal. Don't forget it's the top 8 that automatically go through. And their remaining fixtures are Monaco at home, who Monaco have been going really well. Girona away, who've struggled this season. And then Dynamo Zagreb. So I think Arsenal will be sound. I think word on Arteta, because 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was, he was getting a bit of stick saying, "Oh, what's he actually really done? Has he, he's not won. I think he won an FA Cup, but apart from that, what's he?" We go back to that thing about form and everybody has a bad spell, but he clearly really knows what he's doing. If any Arsenal fan doesn't appreciate what he's done, then if it changed, I think they'd find out, because he's done a brilliant job, I think.
I still say if and I know it's a big if they can keep their big hitters fit, I do not think Arsenal will be far away in either the Premier League or the Champions League.
Totally agree. They've got a chance of winning the Champions League. They've got a chance. I mean, it's obviously a competition that they've never won, even when it was the European Cup. I mean, that would be a triumph, and they're certainly not out of the league at the moment. Just a couple of other notes on the Tuesday's game before we go to the break. There were 40 goals across the 9 games on Tuesday. I just want a word on Lewandowski, because he's 100 goals now in the Champions League. Only Messi and Ronaldo are in that club. And, he's a veteran now. He's at Barcelona. He's having a terrific season. He's still scoring plenty of goals, looks in great shape. A centre-forward's appreciation of Lewandowski, Alan.
I've said it, is when people know who you are, what you are, how you score, how you like to score, and to keep up and keep getting up every single morning, having that hunger and desire to keep out and keep getting up and going out and scoring goals. Got huge admiration for him. He's an incredible player. He has been for God knows how long. I think I've got huge respect for him.
He's scoring for fun again this season. He's mid-30s now, but what a player he's been. And one of the a player that we talked a lot about last season, they're starting to show a little bit of a return to form as well, Leverkusen. And Florian Wirtz, who's scored 5 goals already in this Champions League campaign, featured obviously for Germany, we saw in the summer during the Euros. A precocious talent, Micah.
Yeah, he won't be at Leverkusen long. No. I think they're building a good team there, but I think when Alonso, or if Alonso was to leave, I think it would be on the writing on the wall. He's got too much ability. He seems to me like he's going to be one of those players who end up at Bayern. I know they've got an array of talent, but Bayern...
Any team that challenges them in Germany, buy their best player.
Exactly. But the thing is with Wirtz, or Wirtz, as I say in Germany, he's been doing it for a while now. It's not a one or two... 2-season hit. He's been doing it for a while. I've known about Wirtz for a long time. And it's nice to see someone reaching their potential, because he's had a big name for a while now. He's stuck in Leverkusen. He did what he did last season with them, bar the last game in the Europa League final. But yeah, he's been outstanding and he's carried on that form this season as well.
I don't know about you two, but that didn't look any kind of a foul whatsoever to me, let alone for VAR to turn it over. And I think both Emery and I think Watkins as well after the game said that in Europe they tend to be more protective of goalkeepers than the Premier League. But I mean, I don't care how protective you are, that was not a foul. And Villa were, I don't like to use the word robbed, but I mean, gee whiz.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing it last night on CBS, and Thierry thought it was a foul.
Did he?
Like,
he's a forward. He's a striker. What?
I know. I couldn't believe what. I understand. I was trying to explain. You jump with your elbows, and there's a little bit of contact with the goalkeeper, but I mean, it happens when you're jumping for the ball. There's no way in a million years that's a foul. They were robbed there, Villa. They were robbed.
Agreed. Very, very harsh. Very harsh.
And it's a big difference because they're ninth in the table when obviously another 2 points would have made a big difference. And to add Juventus to the previous scalps they've had, including Bayern, of course, that would have been really, really special. Before we call it a day, a line certainly on Celtic. They came back. They're above Real Madrid. I bet you never thought we'd say that after 5 games. 20th. There'll be a lot of big clubs in that chunk of teams between 9 and 24. But Celtic could be one of those. I think they've got a chance. I think it's a game that they would have hoped to win, home to Bruges. But did you see the own goal, Celtic?
No.
Oh my goodness, Carter Vickers.
Yeah.
It's one of those who just rolled it back and, where's the keeper gone? Oh dear.
Yeah.
We talk about playing out from the back, didn't we? But that was playing back from the back.
It was. You wouldn't want to see that again. It was a horrible mistake, but they did well coming back and getting a point out of it. And this is where this format, I think, will help Celtic.
Yeah.
Because I think they are more than capable of getting in that gap and having that playoff. And I think it'll be tough for anyone going to Celtic.
That's right.
With that atmosphere.
The next game's the Dynamo Zagreb away, tough but winnable. Celtic have got Young Boys on the 7th game, which is certainly winnable, and then finish at Villa.
Oh.
We've said it a few times now, but this is much, much better format than the group stage previously in the Champions League.
Definitely.
Every game matters. Every single game. And I think that will be the case right to the end. I think, and if Liverpool win the next 2, they'll already be top of the thing. But I don't think there'll be that many clubs going into the final round of fixtures without having anything to play for.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's been much better already. It's been much better.
Yeah. And I just want a word, like we did in the first half with Florian Wirtz, a word on Angel Di Maria. He's gone past Messi with 41 assists in the Champions League. That's 5 goals and 3 assists in his last 3 games, including a hat-trick at the weekend with an extraordinary overhead kick. I don't know whether you saw that. He's one of those veterans that's been around, a little bit like we talked about Lewandowski, that World Cup winner, obviously, scored in the final. Brilliant player. He's one of those players that does lose the ball a lot in matches because he takes risks and he takes chances and he tries to be creative.
He's had some career, hasn't he? Goodness me.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
2 Copa Americas.
He was great on Football Manager, He was one of the ones early doors that everyone was talking about Di Maria, and he put him in the team, he'd score every single game. That's how I first come to find out about him. And then we've sort of got a negative sort of feeling, maybe because when he came to Man United, it didn't go the way we all expected, but he is a top player. He come at the wrong time. The quality is there for all to see. Right,
one final point before we bid you farewell. Leicester City have appointed Ruud van Nistelrooy. Mm-hmm. So he's coached, obviously, at PSV, had a little spell at United, which he did really well after Erik ten Hag got fired. So I mean, whoever you go for, it's a gamble. I understand. I'm informed behind the scenes that one or two managers perhaps turned it down, but it's an opportunity for Ruud, and it's a big name to come to Leicester City, and I hope it works out.
Are you happy with it? Are you happy with it? Your appointment? I mean, you've been a bit coy there, Gary.
I'll tell you in a month, Micah. That's it for this episode of The Rest is Football. Liverpool, Manchester City this Sunday in the Premier League. Are you working on that one for...
Yes,
Micah, you'll be at the game.
So Sunday is going to be difficult for me. I'll give you the usual from the game or when we get back.
Well, I hope you'll be in your disco car.
Correct.
Perhaps we'll get a bit of an input from that. You're working Match of the Day on Sunday, not with
Sunday,
me.
yeah. Yeah,
what am I going to do without either of you all day Saturday? Something that I'll get used to down the line. Something I'll get used to down the line. Okay, that's it. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.